Verena, the Green Screen Partnership has been funded through Interreg Europe and has really, the program has really supported our partners to concentrate on policy development locally and looking for policy solutions across the partnership. And I believe Interreg Europe is an excellent funding program by the European Union to allow partners the space to think, exchange experience with peers on a European level, but really find solutions locally. We have a few members in the audience that might not know Interreg Europe. Could you give us a bit of an overview what it is all about? And that would be great.
Yeah, sure. Thanks. So yeah, Interreg Europe is a pan-European funding scheme. We're managing funds from the European Commission, from the European Regional Development Funds. And the aim of the project is really to help regions to develop and deliver better policies in various thematic fields. So we tackle issues about innovation, stimulating SMEs, helping them to grow, to become more competitive, issues about low carbon economy, like renewable energies, energy efficiency, sustainable mobility, but also lots of topics linked to the environment and to cultural and natural heritage. So we finance our partners with up to 85%. So I think it's quite an interesting, let's say, program. Yeah, and in this period from 2014 to 2020, we had a total of 258 projects approved. So with partnerships that really cover various regions from Europe, we have a total of more than 2,000 partners. And we're really proud that we have them not only from the capital regions, but really also from remote regions, from the outermost regions, from the less developed regions. So we cover pretty much the whole territory of the European Union. And yeah, I mean, by now we have a couple of projects that closed already. And we can see that they had really interesting results. So they managed to improve the policies on the ground, thanks to the lessons learned in the project. So thanks to this interregional exchange of experience they are running, so the peer learning, the study visits, all those activities really help the policymakers to transfer, let's say, some good practices on the ground and to improve the policies. And yeah, we measure that really, let's say, closely. We monitor it very thoroughly. And yeah, today we're very proud to see that we have a leverage effect of 5. So that means basically that every euro that we invest in the projects, thanks to the program, helps to make better use of 5 euros of regional funds. And we expect this value to grow because implementation of projects is still ongoing. So that's in a nutshell, let's say, what we do and what we reached so far.
Yeah, it's fascinating. I mean, it's a huge program working across the whole of the European Union, which is fantastic. Thank you for the very quick overview. In Green Screen, we were looking at a very specific policy solution in the creative industries, namely reducing the carbon footprint, finding solutions in the audiovisual production process. Can you tell us a bit about what attracted you to support the project, and how does that fit in your overall portfolio of projects that you've just mentioned?
Yes, so we approved the Green Screen project under this thematic objective of the low carbon economy. It's almost a bit of a niche project in the program because I mean, or like we can also put it another way, like you're a really good example of also a cross-cutting approach, because we have a lot of projects that deal with cultural and creative industries, but those are approved under the topic of SME competitiveness. So where we support SMEs in a specific sector. So that's really interesting, I think, and it really shows that there's a need to cross those topics, like help the SMEs or the industry to develop, but keeping in mind all those sustainability objectives. And yeah, I think what was interesting in the Green Screen project, when you applied back in time, we were really looking into the partnership, like so the partners that you were mobilizing, and we saw that they are really promising in the sense that they have the policy relevance. They may be able to actually influence the regional policies, like in this case, the development policies for to support the filming industry. And you also demonstrated that the topic you tackle, it is of EU-wide relevance because, yeah, we have filming industries pretty much everywhere. And you had also pretty broad geographic coverage. So all the, let's say, characteristics or the pre-requirements for a good Interreg Europe project have been there. And yeah, this is why we approved.
Just to stay with green screen a little bit, what can you tell us what your highlights were that really were interesting from green screen for you as a funder?
Yeah, I think that the highlights is for sure the pilot actions. So in Interreg Europe, we have the possibilities for the project to apply for pilot actions. So in this, I mean, what we mean with pilot is really a small scale test implementation. And in fact, you managed to convince us even that you needed to do 2 pilot actions, because the learning, I think, and the exchange experience was so rich, and it led to many different, let's say, things in the regions. And at the end of the day, you managed to implement 2 pilot actions. So there was, on the one hand, this carbon calculator for filming industry that was run mainly by Malaga, but also with the help from the Slovak and the Belgian partner. So maybe I think we're going to hear about it later on in the conference. And then on the second pilot was run by Film London, and it was about testing this electric cabinet on-site outdoor film shooting. And I thought that's really cool. That's really innovative. That's also something very tangible. So because we know that sometimes in Interreg Europe, it's a bit abstract. It's not always easy to demonstrate the results and the success of the program, but this was a really interesting, I think, idea. I know that the implementation at the end of the day was, let's say, also not so easy, but nevertheless, the idea was there. And it was really also born by the entire partnership and fine-tuned with thanks to the experience of the other partners. So I think this is really important to highlight. And I mean, other than this, yeah, like throughout the whole project lifetime, I think Green Screen, the partnership, has been very active also in the program activities. You were participating to different events, also in the capitalization exercise. You had a lot of, let's say, also impressive outputs in terms of good practices, the number of good practices you identified, also the number of people that said that thanks to the green screen experience, they increased their professional capacities. So all these are very interesting outcomes. I think for the results, we are also about to see what's coming now. We are still looking for the last progress report of the project to hear about it, but Matti, you told me already earlier that there are really some interesting things ongoing. And yeah, again, I mean, now I'm looking forward to this conference to hear more about it. And yeah, I mean, you've been active also in disseminating the project. And in this respect, you have been an ambassador for the program also, which is also great, really to disseminate the program as such. And yeah, I mean, I can only actually thank you for this investment, and also congratulate, of course, you, like the lead partner and the whole consortium, for the work done in the past years. Yeah.
Thank you, Verena. And a little plug, all those fantastic outcomes can be accessed on our website, actually, interregeurope.eu/greenscreen. If you're interested to see all those practices that we have published, it's all on there. We're slowly reaching the end of our conversation already. I just wanted to look at the future of the program. The next funding program is due to be launched next year in 2022. Can you tell us a little bit about the opportunities for our audiences to apply for funding and benefit from European cooperation going forward next year?
Yes, absolutely. So you said it, like the Interreg Europe, as all the European funding programs, runs on the 7 years schedule. So we are starting now the new programming period 2021-2027. We're slightly delayed, but we expect the program to be launched very soon. In fact, the preparation of the program is ongoing already since more than 2 years. We came to a big milestone, which was the approval of the cooperation program, so the actual, I mean, basis document at the beginning of this year in February. Now the next step is to have it approved by the European Commission. And well, our current timeline foresees that we start or that we launch a first call for proposals probably in March or April, let's say in spring next year. So the overall, let's say, idea of the program didn't change. We continue pretty much in the same rationale. We address really mainly the policymakers throughout Europe. We focus on capacity building. The door is open, let's say, to bring up new topics also. So we have this, yeah, let's say, wide flexibility in terms of thematic areas to be covered. We have a budget that is very similar to what we had before. So now it's, I think, 379 million euro for the entire programming period. We have, let's say, compared to the past, where we had a very strong focus on the structural funds, this is now a little bit lightened, so we leave the door open for more or other types of policy instruments also. And we leave the door open also to more small-scale testing with the pilot actions.
That's fantastic. That's really good to know. And is there anything that people can benefit outside of the funding that you have available as well? Yeah, that would be really interesting.
Yes, we have, because we have next to the project that we support, we have a second pillar, let's say, in the program, that is a policy learning platform. So the policy learning platform is our capitalization initiative. It's a very, let's say, broad project by now, because we have, first of all, we have a knowledge hub. So we work with a team of interdisciplinary experts that that put together really some documentation building on the results of the project. So for instance, they draft policy briefs, different articles, they analyze the good practices of the projects and so on. They can also provide tailor-made support to policymakers or anyone that is interested in, let's say, regional or territorial development. So if you have specific questions, you can approach them. If you have, let's say, a very clear challenge that you would like to have some expert or some peer support, you can also apply for a peer review. So the platform can organize a peer review in your region for free. You can also take part in the community. So there's an online community where you can build a profile similar to any other social media, where you can look for people like using different keywords. For instance, if you need an expert in a very specific field, you can try to find them on the community network, chat, and so on. So there's lots of opportunities, and this is available anytime, anywhere, anyone that's interested, and for free. So if you're not yet a part of the community, anyone out there, please join.
Yeah, I wholeheartedly can agree with that. It's almost like a Facebook for policymakers. So if we have local authorities here in the audience today, I can recommend you have a look at this. Your policy problem, you're not alone. There are a lot of solutions out there on the platform, so I can recommend this. We're slowly running out of time, but just maybe to finish off, COP26 is around the corner. What is your hope for your portfolio of projects that have dealt with the climate crisis, Verena? I'd be interested to hear what your thoughts were on that.
Yeah, well, that's not an easy question as such, but I mean, the good thing is we have many projects, and I mentioned it earlier, that deal with sustainability topics, be it transport, be it energy, be it resource efficiency. So I mean, it's a very broad area, and I think the projects we have, they are totally in line with the objectives of the COP, of course. So that's very good. We will also see in the new program, let's say, a certain focus on these sustainability topics, because I mentioned earlier, we have flexibility of topics, but we have also concentration of resources. So 80% of the budget will go to green and smart topics, basically. Yeah, so I mean, now we are also seeing that, I mean, okay, the climate crisis is pretty much everywhere in the media. We also have the COVID crisis that hit very hard the continent. But I mean, as Churchill said, never waste a crisis. So that's also, I think we are really in a good momentum where many governments, they kind of rearrange the priorities. They inject a lot of money to recover, and that's obviously also a very good momentum to put green topics and sustainability topics high on the agenda, and to make sure that we recover green. Yeah, and like speaking about the COVID crisis, maybe it's also interesting to mention that obviously it had an impact on the program and on the implementation of the project, green screen and all the other projects. And actually we could allow to the projects, including green screen, to extend actually the implementation and to continue the exchange of experience, but with a specific focus on how did our topic, let's say, evolve now with the COVID crisis. So we will also see how well the project continues, and hopefully, well, this will be again an opportunity to put the green topics high on the agenda also in the regions. And last but not least, I want to also take this opportunity to invite everyone to join our next event. The Europe Let's Cooperate online forum will take place on 24th and 25th of November. And this will be also an ideal opportunity for anyone to learn more about the project, about the program, the achievements of the past program, let's say the ideas for the new program, and come up with your ideas and help us also to put the sustainability topics high on the agenda and to support the efforts of the COP26.
Fantastic. Thank you, Verena. And a date for your diary, 24th and 25th of November online, Europe Let's Cooperate. Verena, thank you so much for joining us. And thank you also for supporting your continued support for Green Screen. We'll continue with the program extension. The project extension leads us into the summer of 2022, and we're delighted to continue the journey. And thank you.